All right. Welcome back. The news broke. Rahi and I were in the stadium. We're on Twitter, and the people around us are all like checking their phones because US is beating Mexico 1-0, and some guy says, "Oh, I think Gregg Berhalter is the coach again." I thought he was joking, but I thought it was a joke, and I thought, nice one, man. But after that, I thought Greg was gonna walk out in the middle of halftime or something, man. But
That would have been great on a
This
Rose
is
Bowl.
not a drill. This is not a drill. This is real life.
On a king carried on a king's throne into the middle of the field as a halftime show. Yeah, I was expecting something like that as well.
So for those of you who don't know, you should be aware, and it was officially announced a few hours ago as well. Gregg Berhalter is returning as the coach of the U.S. men's national team.
Insane.
There's nothing else for me to ask, but what happened?
What happened is the right question. What happened over the past 6 months? What have we been doing? What is this hiring process that we've been embarking on? Very selective. We hired a consulting firm, by the way, who had the easiest job in the world. This consulting firm was paid money basically to say, ultimately we'll hire the coach that you just had before. I mean, I'm not sure what PowerPoint presentations they put together that got us to this point, but I'm telling you, this is a very, very strange process that we've been through. Extremely strange. And the statement they put out, which I'll read in a second, is laughable. But I'm just talking process now, and the process makes no sense to me, Roy.
Process-wise, absolute disaster. Just to wait, what has it been, 6 months since the World Cup, to wait this long just to come back to the same guy we had before. One could say it was the plan all along, that they were just waiting for this drama with, Berhalter's wife, and that's the aggression, and with Reina and Reina's
came
parents.
out months ago. That report was cleared months ago.
That report was cleared, but there's the trickle effect and there's the after effect, and you can't hire someone so soon after something like that. There will be riots. There'll be, this will be covered in such a negative way outside of soccer press that I think they maybe knew all along Berhalter was the guy, but they wanted to get past this drama. They wanted to get past this very dark PR moment and let it settle, which it kind of has, right? Not too many people are talking about those incidents. Not too many people are talking about the Reina situation. So timing wise, I think they got it right if this was the plan all along. But to drag us along and make us think, oh, Jose Mourinho, could it be Mourinho? Oh, Pep is available now. And then we go back to Berhalter. So those are my thoughts on the process. I have very different thoughts on actually him being coach. That's
I don't think they knew this all along, because this is a new sporting director. So
That's
by the
true.
way, he's a new sporting director that's come in. And I want to read you what the statement says, because it's fantastic. It says that Crocker outlined the competencies for the head coach and embarked on this very detailed process.
Right.
And in order to hire this new coach, he utilized advanced data analytics, sophisticated metrics, and cutting-edge hiring methods to profile and rank each candidate. Every single candidate was ranked. After all the
cutting edge.
Guess who came out on top? Mr. Gregg Berhalter. They ranked them all. Pep just a close second. Jose Mourinho coming in third. And beyond that, we got Thierry Henry seventh. But number one, after all the analytics were run, Mr. Gregg Berhalter at the top of the list.
Win another treble, Pep. Maybe we'll consider you. Jeez,
you gotta trust the numbers. You gotta trust the numbers, man. Greg just comes out on top if you run it.
What the hell is this cutting edge technology?
AI. They had AI choose. ChatGPT chose the new US coach.
Help.
He put on his vision glasses and was like, saw the future, man.
I hate that statement. I hate every part of that statement.
Well, that's the thing.
What metrics? What data? What is the sophisticated data?
Look, don't BS us, right? Don't tell us that you went through this entire process when we know what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. If Matt Carter came in and loved Gregg Berhalter and we'll talk about what we think of the move, then fine, he loved him. But don't tell us that he went on this insane process where he ranked every single candidate. And suddenly, after they ran all the numbers, guess who came out on top?
Berhalter, the winner. I don't know.
So let's talk about that. Okay, now let's talk about what do we feel about actually Gregg Berhalter becoming the coach.
Sure. BS aside with the process and that statement and just the clown show that this has been for the past 6 months, and the fact that we waited so effing long to announce something that we could have announced sooner, whatever. All that aside, there are arguments to this move, in favor of this move. One argument is that Gregg brought us into this new era of the U.S. men's national team. He's the coach with the highest win percentage across any U.S. men's national team coach in history, and it's not really that close. He's 37, 11, and 12, I believe, in 60 matches. Yeah. That's very impressive. He's won tournaments. He's won pretty much every tournament that was expected of him. Not the World Cup. He got out of a touch group stage. It's hard to say that he didn't do well. We could argue that, some of the performances weren't very good, but overall, he did quite well. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not super mad about this. I'm mad about the process. I'm mad about the delays. I'm mad about the communication. It doesn't make any freaking sense to me. But overall, if I were to choose a coach that is American, it's hard to justify going with Jesse Marsh, given his recent failures, given his stubbornness with his system. I don't think that would have been good for this team. It's hard to convince a fan that we should go with Cherundolo, for instance, just after, a year and a half with LAFC. It's hard to say Curtin. So in terms of domestic coaches, you go with the guy who's been through a World Cup, who's been through it, who could improve upon it, ideally. I'm okay with it if that was our pool of coaches.
The weird thing is I actually agree with Roy. Because look at the team we just watched yesterday.
Weird.
Let's be honest. Who was coaching that team? That's Gregg Berhalter's team, right?
These are his assistants.
That's his team. I mean, that's his assistant coaching now. I wouldn't be surprised if BJ called up Gregg about the lineup yesterday, day before. Yeah. I'm sure they've been in contact. That was effectively Gregg Berhalter's lineup. That's his system. That's his team. Those are his coaches. So, I mean, if we're talking about what a great performance it was, then we have to give credit to the man who brought them to the point at which they are. And that is him, right? And so I think that's one thing. And the other piece is that the players do love him, right? You have the captain of the team vocally advocating for his return, right? Okay, so Gio Reyna, right? That's the elephant in the room, right? Gio Reyna. And but Pepe. Everyone else seems to add. Yeah, good point. Ricardo Pepe, Gio Reyna. It's a good point. And you hope that they have ironed it out. My guess is they probably already have, otherwise they wouldn't have hired him back. Yeah. I'm sure they thought about that. But look, is it the dream hire? Absolutely not. It's not the dream hire. But is it the worst hire possible? No. I mean, there are dangers with bringing someone in new and trying to go with the sexy name and having the whole thing blow up. Ask Mexico about Tata Martino. Ask how that went, right? So there are examples of big name coaches failing. So
that's a good point you make, and I just remembered some of the names. Sven-Göran Eriksson coached Mexico. Fabio Capello went to England, right? There's these coaches that are like these renowned coaches that go to multiple teams. There's been multiple iterations of this. Yeah, so you have a guy like Hervé Renard and stuff like that who had success in Africa, and then now he's coaching the French women's team. But he's very much been in that system because he was at Zambia, then he was Ivory Coast, and he coached Saudi Arabia most recently. So yes, there's a little bit of that. But Alex Ferguson coached Scotland for a few games, right? That didn't have success with the national team. So I'm not saying that these are obviously far better coaches than Gregg Berhalter. I mean, let's not get that wrong. I'm saying the national team setup is a little bit of a different animal. So you don't necessarily bring a Zidane over or a Pep over and even a Mourinho over. Mourinho's never coached Portugal. We don't know how that would go. Yep. You don't know. I mean, are they better coaches? Yes. But are they necessarily the best coach for the national team? Hard to say, on paper. Sure, it looks great on paper, but is that going to actually translate? We tried the Klinsmann experiment. We saw how that went.
Yeah. And one big thing, I love everything you said there, Sahil. One big thing is, are we generally happy with how the past 4 years have gone? Looking back at the past 4 years, our record, sure, we didn't do so well against European competition. I think we're 2-3-2 against European competition. We lost against Switzerland, things like that. We lost against Netherlands. Same with South American competition. So are we happy with how it went? I would say, based on the US's history, based on how past windows have gone with Klinsmann, with other coaches, I'm fairly satisfied. Is there room to improve? Absolutely. But I think what's happening now with this move is the federation is saying, you've been through a full cycle. We expect you to improve upon the last cycle. And we think you're able to. And I think one big way to improve is he's got to get rid of his best friends. He's got to stop bringing in the Morris, the Roldan, the Acosta, the Aaron Long, the Sean Johnson. We just got to move out of this core. I'm a huge MLS guy, you guys know. There are a couple MLS guys who deserve to be here. Miles Robinson is one of them. And he got to move past that.
I think you're right. There's nothing wrong with continuity because we have been happy with the process coming into basically until he left. Now the question is improvement. We saw them against the Netherlands team that was tactically better. And that moment we were wondering, is Gregg Berhalter the man to take us to the next level? And those are real questions, and those questions persist. The issue is he has shown in the past that he does learn from his mistakes.
Yeah.
So he's tried lineups before that he's never gone back to. He's understood, he had a very strictly possession base. Then he evolved it a little bit, right? Understanding that he couldn't play against the low block. So there has been some evolution. The question is his ceiling high enough to take us to another plateau? And that I'm not sure about. I have no idea. And I can't tell you that. And there are real questions about whether he has it in his arsenal to take us to another level. Something we don't need is disruption, right? There's so much disruption from the administration, the interim manager, just crazy stuff happening around them. And they're not playing for their clubs at times. So there is some benefit to continuity, to comfort, coming back to the national team, knowing your role, knowing what to do, knowing who's around you. It might help in the development.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So overall, good day for the USA. Overall, we happy with it? I'll start first. I think it is. I personally think this could have gone a lot worse. Could it have gone better? Sure. But for me, I think it could have gone a lot worse. So I'm net. I'm not going to say this was a 10 out of 10 hire. I'm definitely not going to say that this was a 1 out of 10 hire. I would give it a solid 7. That's where I would rate it. So what do you guys think?
It's a 1 out of 10 process. It's a disaster again from all the administrators. Just a disaster. But as a hire, yeah, it's a 5. It's a 6. 5.5 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
People are pissed. People are infuriated. People are threatening to burn their U.S. national team jerseys and never watch the team again. So that's a reaction that we're going to see. I think that is completely overblown, completely out of hand, and completely ridiculous, given the fact that the team has done fairly well. Let's be real. So is this a good day, given the win and given the hire? Yes, it's always good to win against Mexico. It's always good to win in this way against Mexico. It's incredible. I would give the hire about a C to a C+. Communication, negative 100 out of 100.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Sure.
This whole cutting edge technology to decide that Berhalter was a BS. Just tell us the reason. Tell us the real reason. We'll get along with you. But overall, good day. I think it's going to depend on what happens against Canada.
I want to finish with 2 names, which are Didier Deschamps and Zlatko Dalic. Continuity. These are 2 teams. Croatia's playing Nations League final tomorrow. France, everyone knows how good France is. There's something to be said for continuity. Always a good day. Always a good day to beat Mexico. So more to come in the Gregg Berhalter saga. I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk about it. And as always, go USA. Take the CONCACAF Champions League final home tomorrow. And as always, vamos USA.